Scan, Sharon, Amber, Flo, Tammy.
Correctly putting together a dish can make a long-lasting relation between the customer and the company. Today I'm going to show you how to put together a dish and all the components and how we use them and what they're good for. So right here I'm going to show you the first component. This is the reflector. This is what the LMB looks at to beam off of to get the signal from the satellites in the sky. Right here, it's called a backing structure. This is another main part because this is where you set your skew and elevation for the dish to know what satellites you're looking at in the sky. So the skew is set to at the tilt angle you're going to be tilted at once you get it on your map. And then the elevation is set for how high or low you're going to be going to max out on the signal strengths for the satellites in the sky. Right here, it's called a LMB bracket. This goes onto the end of the backing structure, or the backing structure, so the LMB will go on it. So that is the main part of the dish, is the LMB. This LMB here is called a 1002 Eastern Arc LMB. This LMB will bring all your programming in HD, including the local channels for Dish Network. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit on how to put it together. So this is your reflector, and you got these 4 holes here. So you're going to take your backing structure, put it on the reflector. So currently with Dish Network, we have about 14 million subscribers. And nowadays, if you were to ask Dish Network what the components do and how we use them, possibly none of them would be able to answer the question. So that's why I'm showing a few people today on how it works, so maybe they'll have more knowledge on how the systems use the satellites and why we need to use them and what they're for on our systems. So actually, Dish Network was started off in 1809, or it was 1809, or 19, sorry, it was actually, I think, 1980. And it started off with 2 gentlemen, and they actually rode around in a bicycle and had a cart attached to the back of it. And they put up their very first satellite and had one customer to try it out. And his name, the founder of Dish Network, his name is Charlie Ergen. And you can find all this information on Dish Network's actual website. You can go to company info and it will tell you the founder. Like I said, Charlie Ergen. And he started the company. And now it's grown up to have more customers than Charter. I know it's got more customers than Charter. I think actually right now DirecTV actually has more subscribing customers. So Dish Network, to be a customer, you will call the company. They will first ask you what kind of packages you want and what kind of programming. So then they can decide on what kind of boxes you need and how many rooms. So a lot of customers choose Dish Network because of the programming and the efficiency we have. A lot of people have a misconception about Dish. They always think that if it's going to rain or storm, it's going to go out. In some sense, we do tell our customers that is true because it is satellite, so our satellites are in the sky. So we will inform new customers of that happening. But the misconception is they think if there's a cloud in the sky, it's going to go out. That's not true. If your dish is correctly peaked in and built correctly, that's why I'm showing you how to build it. As long as you got the max signal strengths, it'll take a really heavy storm for the dish to go out. So on this dish here, as long as it's mounted to your roof correctly and the mast is level, your signal strengths will never go out unless it's a pretty horrific storm. So this is the dish after it's built. Like I said, this is called 1002 Eastern Arc dish. We also do have another dish that looks just like this one, but it has a different LMB that has 3 eyes on it. It looks at 3 satellites, but that's kind of our older dish because it doesn't bring everything in an HD. So the purpose of the parts for the dish is very important to make customers happy, to actually keep them as a customer. Because you got to know the exact components, and when we go to a customer's home, we will do what's called a walkthrough. That's the first step of our job. We will show them where we're going to put the dish, explain to them why it needs to be put there. Because you have to have line of sight. We call it line of sight. When you're looking at your satellites, you should have 5 degrees of clearance on each side of trees or any obstructions. That way you know you're going to get the max signal strength. So it's important to get all the correct signals to be able to make a long-lasting customer. Because if you do anything wrong in a setup, you're going to have trouble calls and issues. So that's going to make a customer not happy with the company. So it's very important to put everything together correctly. And that's the importance of the dish and all the settings on it. So satellite television is in high demand, and most types of television programming, I have learned that technology is everywhere. So you have so many different television providers out there. So that's why Dish Network is one of the tops on the satellites we have in the sky, and we spend a lot of money on that purpose because we know if we get them the most programming and the best signals, that they're going to be a long-time customer because they ain't going to have issues with their TV going out. So by teaching you guys how to build the dish and what the components are, it makes people want to come to Dish more because they actually know a little bit about the company and how this stuff works. So also, like, we are one of the top in by understanding all this, you can actually know more about the company. So if you do want to become a Dish Network customer, you actually know when they call and ask you questions that you actually know more about the company. So I hope by teaching you guys all this, it will actually interest you more in the company if you're not a Dish Network Dish Network customer, that you will actually want to be a Dish Network customer, see it because you actually know a little bit about the company and the other providers out there. Thank you very much.